Hidden deep within the remote landscape of Tanzania live one of the last remaining hunter-gatherer tribes on Earth, the Hadza tribe. While the modern world became dominated by technology, cities, and constant digital connection, the Hadza continue living in a way that feels almost untouched by time. Their lifestyle resembles how early humans survived thousands of years ago, making them one of the most fascinating tribes still existing today. The Hadza live near the region surrounding Lake Eyasi, in dry savanna landscapes filled with rocky hills, ancient trees, and wild animals. Unlike modern societies built around schedules, offices, and machines, the Hadza depend almost entirely on nature for survival. Hunting, gathering fruits, collecting honey, and finding water remain part of their daily routine. What makes the Hadza especially unique is that they never fully adopted agriculture or large-scale farming, like most human civilizations eventually did. Instead, they maintain a nomadic hunter-gatherer lifestyle, moving through the land depending on seasons, food availability, and environmental conditions. For the men of the tribe, hunting plays a major role. Armed with handmade bows and poisoned arrows, hunters track animals across difficult terrain with extraordinary skill. Birds, antelope, monkeys, and other small animals become important food sources. Their knowledge of animal behavior is so advanced that many can identify tracks, sounds, and movements almost instantly. Meanwhile, women often gather berries, roots, fruits, and edible plants, while also caring for children. One of the tribe's favorite foods is wild honey. Some Hadza men even work together with a unique bird called the honey guide, a small wild bird that leads humans toward hidden bee nests. In return, the bird benefits after the tribe opens the hive, allowing it to feed on leftover wax and insects. This rare cooperation between humans and wild animals has fascinated scientists for years. One of the most surprising things about the Hadza is how little material wealth exists in their society. Most people own only a few personal items, simple clothing, weapons, tools, and containers for carrying food or water. Large houses, money, and luxury goods hold very little importance in their culture. Survival, sharing, and freedom matter far more. Another remarkable aspect is the tribe's relationship with equality. The Hadza traditionally avoid strict hierarchies or powerful leaders controlling others. Decisions are often informal, and resources are shared among the group. Because survival depends heavily on cooperation, selfishness is discouraged naturally within the community. Researchers studying the Hadza discover fascinating details about their health and lifestyle. Despite lacking modern gyms or structured exercise routines, tribe members remain physically active throughout their entire lives. Walking long distances, climbing, digging, hunting, and gathering keep them constantly moving. Scientists also became interested in their diet and gut health, as many Hadza consume natural foods with almost no processed ingredients. Their sleep patterns are also unusual compared to modern societies. Without artificial lights or screens dominating nightly routines, the Hadza follow natural environmental rhythms more closely. Many researchers view the tribe as a living example of how human beings may have lived for most of human history, before industrial civilization transformed daily life. But life for the Hadza is becoming increasingly difficult. Modern expansion, tourism, farming projects, and outside development continue reducing their traditional lands. As surrounding areas change, hunting territories shrink, and access to natural resources becomes harder. Some members of the tribe are pressured to adopt modern lifestyle, while others fight to preserve traditions passed down for countless generations. Visitors who spend time with the Hadza often describe experiencing something deeply emotional, a completely different understanding of life itself. Without constant technology, endless schedules, or obsession with material success, the tribe lives with a level of simplicity that feels almost unimaginable to much of the modern world. To outsiders, the Hadza may appear disconnected from civilization, but to anthropologists and researchers, they represent something incredibly rare, a surviving window into humanity's ancient past, still alive in the modern age. For many outsiders, meeting the Hadza tribe feels less like visiting another culture and more like stepping into another era of human history. Their way of life challenges modern societies have about happiness, success, and survival. In a world driven by speed, technology, and endless consumption, the Hadza continue living with a simplicity that has almost disappeared everywhere else. One of the most fascinating aspects of the tribe is how deeply connected they are to nature. The Hadza do not simply live near the environment, they live as part of it. Every sound, animal track, weather change, and plant carries meaning. Hunters can identify distant birds by sound alone, recognize animal footprints almost instantly, and predict environmental changes with astonishing accuracy. Children begin learning survival skills at a very young age. Boys often practice with small bows, while girls learn how to gather edible plants, roots, and berries alongside older women. Unlike many modern educational systems based mainly on classrooms, Hadza knowledge is passed directly through observation, experience, and participation in daily life. One surprising curiosity about the tribe is how little conflict exists over possessions. Because most resources are shared and material ownership remains minimal, there is less competition over wealth or status. Food collected during the day is often distributed among the group, reinforcing strong social bonds inside the community. Another remarkable detail is their incredible endurance. Members of the tribe may walk long distances under intense heat, searching for food and water, yet many maintain impressive physical health well into old age. Researchers studying the Hadza frequently point out how active lifestyles, natural diets, and constant movement may contribute to their low levels of certain modern diseases associated with sedentary living. The Hadza language itself is also unique and extremely rare. It includes clicking sounds similar to some other indigenous African languages, creating speech patterns that sound unfamiliar to most outsiders. Linguists consider the language highly important because it may preserve traces of very ancient human communication systems. One of the tribe's most famous traditions involves honey gathering. Honey is considered one of the Hadza's favorite foods and provides an important source of energy. Skilled gatherers climb tall trees using remarkable agility, often working together with the honey guide bird to locate hidden beehives. Some researchers describe this relationship as one of the few known examples of wild animals intentionally cooperating with humans in nature. Despite their strong connection to traditional life, the Hadza are not completely isolated from the modern world anymore. Tourists, filmmakers, scientists, and journalists increasingly visit the region hoping to witness their lifestyle firsthand. While tourism sometimes provides economic opportunities, it also creates pressure and risks, turning ancient traditions into attractions for outsiders. Modern expansion remains one of the greatest threats to the tribe's future. Farming projects, land disputes, livestock expansion, and government development continue reducing the territory available for hunting and gathering. As their traditional lands shrink, maintaining the old way of life becomes more difficult with each passing generation. Some younger Hadza members have started interacting more with nearby towns and modern technology. Certain individuals wear modern clothing, use mobile phones occasionally, or participate in trade with outsiders. Yet many still choose to preserve core traditions, balancing small elements of modern life while maintaining the identity of their ancestors. Researchers often describe the Hadza as one of the closest living representations of how early humans survived for tens of thousands of years before agriculture transformed civilization. Their social structures, diets, movement patterns, and relationship with nature provide valuable insights into humanity's ancient past. But perhaps the most powerful thing about the Hadza is not simply their survival skills, it is the way they view life itself. Without massive cities, social media, luxury goods, or modern careers, the tribe still finds meaning through family, cooperation, storytelling, hunting, music, and shared experiences around campfires beneath the open sky. Many visitors leave realizing that despite all modern advancement, humanity may have lost certain forms of connection the Hadza still preserve naturally. In the silence of the savannah, surrounded by ancient landscapes and tradition older than most civilization, the Hadza continue carrying a way of life that the modern world nearly forgot. As the modern world continues expanding across nearly every corner of the planet, the future of the Hadza tribe becomes increasingly uncertain. Roads grow closer to their territories, outside businesses search for land, tourism keeps increasing, and modern lifestyles slowly influence younger generations. What survived for thousands of years now faces pressures unlike anything the tribe experienced before. For the Hadza, land is not simply property, it is memory, survival, identity, and history combined. Every hunting path, water source, tree, and rocky hill carries meaning passed down across generations. Losing territory does not only threaten food supplies, it threatens an entire way of understanding life itself. One of the greatest fears among researchers and cultural preservation groups is that the Hadza lifestyle could disappear within a few generations if outside pressures continue growing. Around the world, many indigenous cultures were gradually absorbed into modern society, losing languages, traditions, and survival knowledge that existed for centuries. The Hadza now stand at that same fragile crossroads between preservation and disappearance. Yet, despite these challenges, the tribe continues resisting in its own way. Each morning, hunters still walk into the savannah carrying handmade bows. Families still gather around fires at night, sharing food and stories. Children still learn from nature instead of screens. Ancient knowledge still survives through memory rather than books. Visitors who spend time with the Hadza often describe a strange emotional feeling after leaving. Many return to modern cities, realizing how different their own lives became, filled with noise, pressure, schedules, and endless distractions. The Hadza, despite owning very little materially, often appear deeply connected to the present moment, in a way many modern societies lost long ago. Anthropologists studying the tribe repeatedly mention something fascinating. The Hadza rarely measures success through accumulation. In much of the modern world, people constantly chase more money, more possessions, more status, more productivity. Among the Hadza, survival and social connection matter far more than ownership or competition. Another remarkable aspect is how much freedom exists within the community structure. Individuals are generally not controlled by rigid systems, strict governments, or powerful authorities. Decisions happen more naturally through cooperation and social balance. While modern civilization became increasingly structured and hierarchical, the Hadza preserved one of humanity's oldest social models. Scientists also continue learning valuable lessons from the tribe's lifestyle. Studies involving the Hadza's physical activity, diet, sleep, microbiome, and social behavior provide clues about how early humans may have lived before industrialization changed the human body and mind. Some researchers believe understanding groups like the Hadza may even help explain modern health problems connected to stress, processed food, and sedentary living. But perhaps the deepest reason the Hadza fascinate the world is because they represent something humanity fears losing forever, a direct connection to its origins. Long before skyscrapers, factories, technology, or modern nations existed, humans survived through cooperation, storytelling, hunting, gathering, and deep understanding of nature. The Hadza still carry pieces of that ancient reality into the modern age. At night, when fires burn beneath the African sky and conversations echo softly through the camp, it becomes easier to imagine how human beings may have lived tens of thousands of years ago. No engines, no screens, no artificial lights covering the stars. Only people, nature, and survival existing together. And maybe that is why the Hadza continue capturing the imagination of the world. Not because they are primitive, as outsiders sometimes wrongly assume, but because they preserve something incredibly rare, a living connection to humanity's earliest story, still surviving against time itself.